Absolutely, and we are watching the winds and the arrival time of the winds. Now, I don't want you to take this as gospel because obviously forecast is going to evolve as we get closer here within the next 48 hours, but probability of tropical storm force winds, you can see the highest probabilities get us into eastern Louisiana, southern parts of Mississippi, also southern parts of Alabama. Could even be seeing some of those winds extend into interior spots, Georgia. So I think there will be a likelihood that we look at some power outages and some fallen trees as this system moves inland, especially given how wet it's been. We've had a few rounds of very heavy rain across sections of the south. Earliest arrival time, 8 a.m. on Wednesday for southern Louisiana. So you want to have your preparations done probably the night before you go to bed. By Wednesday, 8 p.m. is when you'd want to have those preparations done farther to the north and east. But I would say by midday, shoot for a lot of that to be done. Here's a look at your wind gust forecast. You can see by 9 a.m. Wednesday already picking up 30+ mile-per-hour gusts along coastal Louisiana. But it's later Wednesday and especially Wednesday night that the real core of the strongest winds is expected to move in. We could be looking at hurricane force gusts across parts of Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama. And then, of course, we're watching some of these areas picking up over a foot of snow. Now, of course, giving you a look at the wind gust forecast with Zeta. This is not related to Billy, although Billy and Zeta will actually kind of meet in the middle, combine as we head into the second half of the week. So Billy could get a little extra punch from Zeta's winds. Winds are a little gusty out there in places like Oklahoma City, where we've got the freezing rain that continues to come down across the area. So we've already got some tree limbs beginning to droop, and then you get a wind that takes them down. Power outages are growing. There's a look at the snow filling in across portions of New Mexico. Those are the areas, New Mexico and West Texas, that are going to be picking up the biggest accumulations. I mentioned that possibility of half a foot to a foot. You can see that kind of medium shade of purple. That's that kind of accumulation. Areas in the dark purple could be measuring their snow in feet. 1 foot to a foot and a half possible, 12 to 18 inches in those areas. Oklahoma City, parts of central Oklahoma, back down into Texas. Also, Mark, we'll be watching for the likelihood of that ice continuing. So expect power outages to go up and travel conditions to remain really, really dangerous. You can see the glazy look of those roads. Those bridges and overpasses are going to be troublesome at best, at worst impassable here as we move forward. And even some of the roads are going to be very slick. Again, I think power outages will be going up and tree damage will continue to occur. Ice storm warnings are in effect across parts of Oklahoma into the state of Texas. We've also got the winter storm warnings, winter weather advisories. We look at what's happening right now, and you can see some of that ice continues to fall across parts of Oklahoma with the snow out west through portions of New Mexico. That's where a lot of our accumulations will be focused, whereas the ice will continue here across the state of Oklahoma and eventually into Texas as well. Wichita Falls reporting some of that freezing rain right now with a temperature at 31. We're at 29 there in Oklahoma City. So we've got a really shallow layer of cold air, and we've got that rain falling from the cloud, but then it's freezing on contact, and winds are gusting around 25 miles an hour there in Oklahoma City. That means those trees that are bending are going to be breaking thanks to the gusty winds, and power outage numbers, I think, will be on the increase. In Edmond, tree limbs down on Twitter, reports coming in there. Trees bending over significantly in Richland, and in Oklahoma City, 0.2 of an inch of ice. That's, again, one of the lower estimates I've seen coming in. Other spots, 3/8 inches, even 0.4 of an inch of ice being reported. So we'll keep the ice across this part of the zone. Farther to the west, that's where we could pick up plenty of snow. That mid-range color of purple, that's a half foot to a foot of snow, with the possibility that some areas could get as high as a foot and a half. Here's a look at the future forecast. So how things will be shaping up. Tomorrow morning, you can see that ice across parts of Oklahoma, Texas, even getting up into a little bit of Missouri and extreme southern and eastern Kansas. The snow will be falling in earnest for Albuquerque into places like Amarillo. That'll continue through most of the day. You can see the setup looks awfully similar at 4 o'clock that it did at 7 a.m. So that's why I am really concerned about power outage numbers going up in parts of Oklahoma and Texas, and those road conditions being really dangerous, really until we get into Wednesday morning, Mark, and we finally see that freezing rain switch over to rain as temperatures at the surface warm up. Of what you can expect around the Fort Worth area, you can expect the rain, the clouds, and the cold temperatures. I even have goosebumps to illustrate for you. Temperatures right now 41 in Fort Worth. We've got 50 in Little Rock with rain. How about Springfield, Missouri? 33 degrees in rain. Same for Tulsa. That is miserable. That can only be outdone by Oklahoma City, where it's freezing rain that's coming down, 29 your temperature. And again, that rain is freezing on contact. So if you find yourself outside, it is absolutely bone chilling. We get you to the Fort Worth area, and here moving forward, I've said that virtual view that we're showing you now, it's what it's going to look like tomorrow into the morning, even the afternoon. I think we'll still be dealing with some light rain showers and cooler temperatures. You can see that ice gets a little closer to portions of North Texas, but not going to be a Dallas-Fort Worth issue. Instead, you're just going to be sticking with those light rain showers throughout the morning, the afternoon, even into the evening. Now, rainfall to come. It's going to generally be light. We're talking 1 inch roughly in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Maybe a few spots, especially on the north side of town, get a little higher than an inch. But because it's light, we're not going to be seeing big accumulations. It's Oklahoma City where we've got higher totals. But keep in mind, some of that's coming down as freezing rain. Already marked quarter to nearly a half an inch of ice in some of those spots. So I think power outages are going to mount there across Oklahoma and parts of North Texas.